The question is, what's an exercise you do every day to help people break the paradigm? Let's understand, first of all, that paradigm is a multitude of habits. And you don't just break paradigms, you break habits. And you don't break habits, you replace habits. If I'm trying to break a bad habit, what I perceive to be a bad habit, and I don't consciously and deliberately replace it with a good habit, I'm going to form another bad habit. Nature abhors a vacuum. And so it takes a fair amount of energy and it takes understanding to replace a bad habit with a good habit. So I think what you do is you sit and say, how do I recognize this bad habit? Well, you generally recognize it in your own behavior. And so you say, well, this behavior is giving me a result I don't want. Now, people psychoanalysts try and find the cause of that behavior. You may never find it. We know it's an idea in the subconscious mind. So we sit and write the behavior out. Write it out in crystal clear detail. And then we say, what would be the polar opposite to that? Take another sheet of paper and write out what behavior would be the polar opposite to the one you want to get rid of, and write it out. Take the negative one and burn it, literally burn it. Now that's merely symbolic. It's like lighting a candle in a cathedral. I mean, it's symbolic. So then you take the positive one and you keep writing it every day. Write it every day. Read it frequently. Write it 4 or 5 times a day. Read it frequently. And you will eventually lodge that idea, or as James Allen put it, you will deposit it in the treasury of your subconscious mind. And once it begins to take root, it takes the power away from the negative habit. The negative habit actually dies from a lack of nourishment, and the positive one takes over. I had some jobs that lasted for an hour. You could say, how could you do that? I did it twice.
I found out that consciousness is absolutely essential. Without awareness, you're never going to go further than you are. That's number one. Creativity. If you don't understand your own spirituality, if you don't understand that you have everything you need within you, and all you have to do is bring it to the surface, forget it. You're not going to go for it. You are a creative being. You have the ability to create the life you want. What Malcolm Gladwell said is right on the money. He said, if you will work hard enough, if you will assert yourself, you can't hang back. You've got to step up. If you will assert yourself, if you will use your mind and imagination, you can shape the world according to your desires. We have been conditioned to invest money in everything under the sun but ourselves. Yet, when you get it, when you really get it, you start to believe, then you've got to start to make the tough decisions. Yet the decisions you're making always take you out of the box. If you make just the decisions you're comfortable with, you're not going to go very far. You've got to make a decision to do something that scares the daylights out of you. Even the little ones. You think, well, I don't know. Do it. Now, and then to put it all together, I was shy. So I didn't like being with other people. And I would spend a lot of time alone, and I didn't like me, so I was with somebody I didn't even like. Everyone hits the terror barrier when it comes to doing something that's totally out of the box. A young guy asking a young girl for a date. If he's shy, pick up the phone, it's a terror barrier. A new salesperson, to pick up the phone and phone a prospect, it's the terror barrier. They have their imagination working in high gear, but it's working against them. They're imagining all kinds of bad things happening. Yet it doesn't matter what we're going to do, whenever we step out of the box to do something different, we hit that terror barrier. So we will go to this point, and we may go next point periodically, but not very often. Because the second you hit that terror barrier, everything goes nuts, and we got to back away. Now, you do that a few times, and you get to a point where you say, I'm not going there. If you will work, if you will assert yourself, if you will use your mind and imagination, you can shape the world according to your desires. It's kind of a nice thing to know.